Hey Virgo, hmm, your perspective is about to shift dramatically. What I'm picking up on as I tune into your energy is a complete reframing coming. Everything you're seeing one way right now, you're about to see completely differently. And I don't mean a small shift in understanding. I mean a total transformation of how you perceive your situation, your life, your circumstances, your relationships, your path, all of it. Very soon, you're going to look at the exact same reality and see something entirely new. This isn't gradual awareness, it's sudden clarity, like those optical illusion images where you're staring at chaos and then suddenly you see the picture. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. That's what's coming for you. A moment of recognition so profound it changes everything that comes after. You'll have a before and after. Before you saw it differently, after you see it the new way. And there's no going back to the old perspective once the new one reveals itself. What are you seeing wrong right now? What's the current perspective that's about to flip? Let me read what's showing up. For most of you, you're seeing your situation as a problem, as something wrong, as evidence that you're failing or stuck or being punished or going the wrong direction. You're looking at your circumstances and interpreting them negatively as obstacles, as setbacks, as proof that things aren't working out the way they should. You might be seeing delay as denial, things taking longer than you wanted and deciding that means they're not going to happen, that the universe is saying no when really it's just saying not yet. You're interpreting timing as rejection, interpreting waiting as failure, seeing the gap between where you are and where you want to be as evidence you're never going to close that gap. When really, that gap is just the distance you haven't traveled yet. Not the distance you can't travel, just the distance that still remains. Or you're seeing endings as losses, things that fell apart, relationships that ended, jobs you lost, opportunities that didn't work out, and you're mourning them, seeing them as things taken from you, as failures, as evidence that you can't keep good things, when really those endings were making space. We're removing what didn't fit so what does fit can enter. We're redirecting you toward better, even though better wasn't visible yet when the ending happened. You might be seeing certain people as enemies, as obstacles, people who hurt you or blocked you or opposed you, and you've made them villains in your story, made them the reason things are hard, the reason you're struggling, the reason you're not where you want to be. And very soon you're going to see those same people differently, as teachers maybe, as catalysts, as people who pushed you in directions you needed to go even though their pushing hurt, as necessary characters in your growth even if they weren't kind characters. Or you're seeing yourself wrong, seeing yourself as broken, as damaged, as not enough, as the problem in your own life, looking at your flaws and your struggles and your failures and deciding that's who you are. That's your identity. You're the person who can't get it right, who can't catch a break, who's fundamentally lacking something everyone else has. And that self-perception is about to shatter, about to be replaced with something truer, something that sees your strength instead of just your struggle. What's creating this shift? What's going to flip your perspective? The reading is showing me information coming, something you learn, something someone tells you, something you discover, information that recontextualizes everything you thought you knew, that gives you a piece of the puzzle you were missing. And with that piece in place, the whole picture changes. What looked like chaos suddenly has order. What looked random suddenly has purpose. What looked like your life falling apart suddenly looks like your life falling into place. Or it's an experience, something that happens to you, something you go through that gives you new eyes. Could be a conversation, could be a success you achieve that proves you're more capable than you believed. Could be hitting bottom and realizing the bottom isn't as scary as you thought. Could be losing something and discovering you're okay without it. Could be trying something new and finding out you're good at it. Experience teaching you what thinking couldn't teach you. Or it's internal. A realization, an awakening. Something clicks in your mind. A pattern you finally see, a truth you finally accept, a belief you finally release. And that internal shift creates external perception shift. You're not seeing different things. You're seeing the same things with different understanding. And that understanding changes everything. What the new perspective looks like, how you'll see things differently. Let me read what's coming through. You're going to see your struggles as preparation, not punishment. Every hard thing you've been through, you're going to recognize as necessary, as building something in you. Strength, resilience, wisdom, capacity. You're going to look back at your hardest moments and understand they were training. They were making you ready for what you couldn't have handled before. What you're about to receive requires who you became through struggle. The struggle wasn't random, it was precise. You're going to see delay as divine timing, not denial. Not the universe saying no. The universe orchestrating, moving pieces into place, making sure everything's ready, making sure you're ready. You're going to see that the things you wanted that didn't come when you wanted them were being prepared. We're being perfected. We're waiting for the exact right moment. And that moment is approaching, was always approaching. The delay was never rejection, it was precision. You're going to see endings as redirections, as course corrections, as the universe removing what was blocking your path to better. That job that ended, it was keeping you from the job that actually fits. That relationship that fell apart, it was occupying the space your actual person needs to fill. Those opportunities that didn't work out, they were preventing you from being available for the opportunities that will work out. Endings weren't losses, they were clearings. They were making room. You're going to see people differently. Even the ones who hurt you, not excusing what they did, not making them heroes when they were harmful, but understanding their role differently. Seeing how even the painful people pushed you toward growth, toward self-awareness, toward boundaries, toward knowing what you won't accept, toward discovering strength you didn't know you had. They weren't supposed to be forever people. They were supposed to be lesson people. And the lesson is learned, and you're different because of it. Most importantly, you're going to see yourself differently. Going to see your resilience, your capacity, your growth. You're going to recognize that someone who's been through what you've been through and is still standing, still trying, still hoping, is not broken, is strong, is capable, is worthy. You're going to see your struggles as evidence of your strength, not your weakness. your survival as proof of your power, your continuation as testimony to your resilience. When does this perspective shift happen? The reading says very soon, not years from now, not when you're old looking back. Soon, days, weeks within the month. Something is about to happen or occur to you or be revealed to you that creates this shift. And once it happens, you won't be able to go back to seeing things the old way. The new perspective will be too clear, too obvious, too true. What triggers the shift for different people? For some, it's success. Finally achieving something you've been working toward. And in that achievement, you look back at the journey and suddenly it all makes sense. Every setback, every delay, every struggle, you see how each one was necessary, how each one built something you needed, how the winding path was the exact right path, even though it didn't feel right while you were walking it. For others, it's a conversation. Someone says something, gives you perspective you didn't have, points out something you couldn't see, and their words unlock a door in your mind. Suddenly you're seeing your situation from an angle you never considered, and that angle makes everything look different, makes what seemed impossible seem possible, makes what seemed like failure seem like progress. For some, it's hitting a breaking point. You get so tired of your current perspective, so exhausted by seeing everything as hard and wrong and evidence that you're failing, that exhaustion creates surrender. And in that surrender, you let go of the story you've been telling. And when you let go of the old story, space opens for a new one, for a perspective that serves you instead of sabotaging you, for a way of seeing that empowers instead of defeats, or it's synchronicity. Signs appearing, messages coming through multiple channels, the same theme showing up in conversations, in things you read, in what you see and what you hear. The universe conspiring to get your attention, to point you toward a truth you've been missing. And when you finally see the pattern, when you recognize the message being sent from multiple directions, your perspective cracks open. You see what you've been refusing to see, and that seeing changes everything. What to do as you wait for this shift, how to prepare for new perspective. Stay open. Don't get so locked into your current way of seeing that you can't receive new ways. Be willing to be wrong about what you think you know. Be willing to discover that your interpretation of your life has been skewed, that you've been seeing through a distorted lens, that there's a clearer lens available if you're willing to look through it. Question your narratives. The stories you tell yourself about your life, about why things happen the way they happened, about what your struggles mean, about who you are, those stories might not be true, might be interpretations rather than facts, and interpretations can change. You can choose to interpret your experience differently, to assign different meaning to the same events. And that choice creates different perspective. Look for evidence of what you want to see. Not just evidence of what you fear. If you're only looking for proof that life is hard and you're failing, you'll find it. Because confirmation bias is real. But if you start looking for evidence that you're actually doing okay, that you're actually growing, that things are actually working out in unexpected ways, you'll find that too. Both perspectives exist simultaneously. You get to choose which one you focus on, which one you feed, which one becomes your reality. Pay attention to what shifts your mood, what gives you hope, what makes you feel lighter. Those moments of lightness are glimpses of the new perspective trying to break through. They're your system recognizing truth that your mind hasn't caught up to yet. Follow those feelings, investigate them, ask what they're trying to show you. The shift is already beginning. You're just becoming conscious of it. What changes after the perspective shift, after you see everything differently? Your energy changes. You stop carrying the weight of seeing yourself as a victim or a failure. You start moving through life differently, with more confidence, with more peace, with more certainty that you're on the right path, even when the path is hard. Because hard doesn't mean wrong anymore. Hard just means growth, means building, means becoming. Your choices change because perspective determines choices. When you see yourself as capable, you make different choices than when you see yourself as broken. When you see obstacles as opportunities, you engage with them differently. When you see endings as redirections, you grieve less and trust more. New perspective creates new action. New action creates new results. New results reinforce new perspective. It's a cycle that builds on itself. Your relationships change because you interact differently when you see differently. You set different boundaries. You accept different treatment. You attract different people. When you see yourself as worthy, you stop accepting unworthiness from others. When you see your value, you stop letting people treat you as valueless. Your external relationships start reflecting your internal perspective, and the shift is dramatic. What the reading wants you to know, this shift is coming whether you prepare for it or not. Very soon you will see all of this in a very different way. Your struggles will make sense. Your delays will make sense. Your path will make sense. You'll look at the same life you're living now and see beauty where you currently see mess, see purpose where you currently see randomness, see progress where you currently see stagnation. And that new way of seeing will set you free. Free from the stories that have been keeping you small. Free from the interpretations that have been keeping you stuck. Free from the perspective that's been making everything harder than it needs to be. The shift is coming. The new lens is arriving. The different way of seeing is about to become your way of seeing. Very soon. Everything changes. Not your circumstances necessarily, but how you see them. And that changes everything.